Hello, hello, hello! This is Marco with Jolly Fam Gaming. We have a very exciting drop this week. We're expecting Mounts of Mayhem to be dropped here in just a few days. Exciting times for all of us. We're going to be adding some really cool content to Minecraft. And I wanted to walk you through a few things that I like to do with our family server so you can be prepared for your server too. So there might be certain biomes that you find more useful for players to start at. Really common places like a plains. Some people like to start out with an ocean island, something that gives a little bit more variety. You really can pick whatever you like. Whatever's going to bring balance to your players, I think you can be pretty flexible on that. We're going to go ahead and load up a seed that we created on Cubiomes and just see what it brings us. The first thing I always do before I start a server is I get on Cubiomes. Now if you haven't seen this program, you are missing out. This is one of the best Minecraft additional programs I've ever seen. It gives you a full map, as you can see, of the world. You can zoom out, you can zoom in, you can take a look, and you have all of these icons on your right hand side. If we want to look at overlays, we can see things like where are the strongholds, where are villages, and you can look up witch huts, you can look up anything that you want. That being said, I usually don't use it for that purpose. Mostly I'm looking to get a nice balanced mixture of biomes and an interesting kind of scenic place to start the game. For a little bit of information, I run the server with about 15 people, and we just want to have a fun place to start. So most of the time I'm just looking for something interesting. I'll always start out by kind of randomizing seeds. You can absolutely find a seed if you have one recommended to you by a friend, or there's a lot of lists online. There's a lot of great even YouTube channels as well that provide seeds that you can start out with. But as you can see, if we do a random one, we just come up to this box, we delete it, we hit enter, generates a new map, just like that. And then you can look around, you can hover the mouse over different parts and it will tell you the biome that you're looking at. It'll give you the coordinates, that X and Z axis there, that tell you where to go. So if you're using that in F3 mode on your computer, you can easily get to interesting places. Again, I don't recommend using this for things like finding strongholds, but you totally can if that's something that's going to be useful to you or your players. I think it's more interesting just to see the general landmass. It has quite a few different views you can look at in this too. If we come up to the layer tab, we can look at things like where the temperature's warm and cold. And one of my favorite is looking at the depth here. This shows you the general Y height of things. So if you're looking for a giant mountain, for example, that you want to build on, this is where you're going to go. You're going to go find these areas that are white, and that's telling us it's very high. Whereas these darker areas are the ocean, the deeper parts of the ocean. And it gives you just a great idea how much terrain you're going to be working with. I know some people prefer more of a flat map. Some people like to have some height. I personally like to have a lot of height in my builds. So this is really useful to give me a general idea of where I could go looking for these different biomes. So if you like vanilla Minecraft, you're good to go. You have your map. You can open it up to LAN or run it on your server just like it is. Personally, I love to use Datapacks. I just think it adds so much to the game, creates just a lot of interesting dynamics, and it frankly helps to get rid of some quality of life problems that I think Minecraft has, in my opinion. So I'm going to go through a couple of my favorite data packs and where I like to get them, and I'll just explain how they contribute to the game, and you're welcome to make your own call if they're useful to you. Alright, to get started, we're going to look at Planet Minecraft. This is a good site for data packs. This is kind of the OG of data pack sites. This is where I really got started with data packs. Since the last couple of years, a lot of the creators have actually migrated over to Modrinth, also an amazing site. We're going to take a look though and see the ones I like to get and see their availability on both sites. Alright, first on my list, Blazing Caves Advancement Pack. I love this one. It just gives you a whole lot more goals you can do. There's just probably 1,000 plus goals at this point on here, and they have a lot of fun, creative things. It just gives you more direction when you're playing. I also like, and there's probably going to be some mixed feelings about this, but I really like that it gives you rewards when you complete objectives, and it gives you an easy way to get materials in the earlier game too. So again, probably some purists out there that won't like that as much, but for me it's just a lot of fun. And they have also a super challenge list that are just bonkers, super challenging things that will really test out the limits on your Minecraft skills. So we really love this. My players on my server have absolutely been over the moon about this data pack. It's been an awesome one. So this is always first on my list when you want to save them. You just come, hit the download button. Some of them will have you leave to a third-party site. Some of them will download through Planet Minecraft. I've never had any issues with the third-party sites they send you to. Never hurts to have a pinch of salt when looking at the sites to make sure they seem safe, though. All right, next up on the list is another personal favorite. I love Arborea. So this one is awesome because it changes the biomes, but it doesn't add any new biomes. I know there's a lot of Terralith fans out there. It's an awesome data pack too. The issue I had was that it then invalidated Cubiomes. So you couldn't use Cubiomes to look up where biomes would be because it's adding in all these new biomes. Where Arborea, it just upgrades the existing biomes to make them much more interesting. It's actually not modifying anything with the terrain itself, or very little. Like, it will put some half slabs, it will change out the stone, occasionally throw in like terracotta. There's different things that it will change with the map, but it's not actually changing the general lay of like where there's a mountain or where there's a hill or rivers, things like that. So it's pretty mild on that end, but it really makes some nice terrain. And I love the way that the trees have been implemented in it too. They're just much more beautiful than your standard Minecraft. Much more depth to it. And one other thing, I still really need to verify this, but it feels like there are less passive mobs in Arborea. And that's just my experience. And I haven't done like an official study on that. But if that's the case, the reason I like that is it makes it a little more significant when you run into a sheep or a cow. And you're a little more likely to try and take care of that and breed it rather than just shamelessly kill everything that you see. So it keeps things really interesting, and it gives you a really beautiful world to explore, which I think is awesome. All right, last on my list from Planet Minecraft is Amethyst Traveling. This is one that's a little less known, but I love it. And again, another hot take, but in my opinion, travel in Minecraft is fun the first time you make the trip, but if you're going back and forth between biomes, it just adds up in time. And for me, I want to be doing things, building things, going on adventures, but I don't want to be walking home for an hour over 10,000 blocks. So, hot take, I love some kind of teleportation mod. That being said, I hate commands. I just feel like that really cheapens the experience. I want there to be a consequence to teleporting, which is why I absolutely love this data pack, is because it uses Amethyst, arguably one of the less useful blocks and minerals in the game, and it makes it into a useful teleporter. You can create teleporters, and just like this picture shows, you can use any of the nice resource blocks. You can put copper, iron, gold. All of these go in the middle. They're just surrounded by an amethyst ring, and then you use a resource. Use an amethyst crystal while you're standing on this to activate the portal, and then you can link them up. So the nice thing about this is that it costs something, so you have to pay in amethyst crystals, and it also allows you to link together areas of the map, but in order to do that, you still have to have found those areas of the map. You can use things like diamond, can teleport between dimensions, so you can go between the nether and the overworld, and netherite blocks can actually be used to go between all three dimensions. So if you're willing to spend a little bit more, and also the more precious the resource you're spending, the faster the teleportation time is. So there's a bit of a trade-off, but I think if you're going to have some kind of teleporter in your server, and I highly recommend it, especially if a lot of people go into a lot of unique places, I just feel like this is a really balanced, pretty fair way to approach it that just shaves off so much travel time when you could be doing something more fun. And last but not least, no list of data packs for Minecraft would be complete without going to Vanilla Tweaks. If you haven't heard of this, it's got a big background from Hermitcraft. I think that multiple creators, I think it came from Suzuma originally, or at least he was on a team that made the data packs and the resource packs. I'm not sure how much involvement he has these days, but it's a very, very famous data pack site. And the cool thing about this is that you have so many options. You can go through, you have your decorative, cosmetics, your convenience, and you literally just pick the things that are interesting. So if you want this, you want custom nether portals, yes. More mob hebs, yes. Dragon's gonna drop an elytra. Oh, we want some elevators. You can go through and pick and choose. You're not required to pick any amount. You can just take one thing if you want. You can take most of the things if you want. There are a couple things that are not compatible with each other, but most of them are. And so you basically just use whatever rules you like from here and shun the ones that you don't. But you go through, you make your custom list, and then you just hit the download button. And when you're ready to go, it just pops that in, and that will have all of them compiled into one downloadable file. All right, excellent. So we've selected our data packs, and now it's time to put them into the map that we want. So we're gonna click on our Mounts of Mayhem server, and we're gonna edit this. So we're gonna come in, we're going to go ahead and open the world folder, and it's gonna pop up this list here. The thing you're looking for is data packs, surprisingly, right? So we're gonna grab that. I also have our downloads here, and this might be a little counterintuitive because a lot of folders say unzip me, right? But if I just click in here and I drag all of these out, this is from Vanilla Tweaks, I put them in there, it still says it's zipped up, but experience has shown this is the way to get it to work. I couldn't tell you why, but this is just what's worked for me, so take that with a pinch of salt as well. So we're gonna throw in, we're just copying these. We're copying, we're pasting, we do our Vanilla Tweaks. Let's grab our Amethyst Travel, Arborea, we're gonna copy paste. Arborea is a little bit interesting in that if it's generated the terrain already, you're not gonna see the new generation in the terrain unless you go into a new chunk that has it. But anyway, so we just put those in that folder, we'll hit save, and let's play it. We're gonna hop in here. It's gonna ask, are you sure you know what you're doing? Yeah, we know what we're doing. And how do we know, right? How do we know if it's working? Well, you can type in, look at that, Amethyst Fast Travel's been reloaded. If we go data pack list, and we hit enter, boom, it has the list of all the data packs that we've applied in here. So, and you can test them out too. If you're wondering if something's gonna work or not, just look at its features. Do something that the data pack would allow you to do, and that really will give you a great idea how it will work for you and your friends on the server. So once we now have this world put together, we have the data packs on there, we just need to upload it to whatever site or server you use for this sort of thing. I do think it's worth mentioning that a lot of the third-party ones will allow this. There sometimes are troubles if you're trying to use realms. Realms can be hit and miss with data packs, so take that with a grain of salt as well. But this is really how I get set up on my world. I just make sure that the data packs are all lined up, that we have a cool map to work with, and we go from there. So that's just my how to set up server demo. I'm excited to actually set up the server, and I hope to upload some play from our family server here soon. Until next time, stay jolly. Thanks for checking in.